In the previous sessions, we tried understanding what is switch statement and then what are the rules while you work with switch statement. So in this session, we try to create a menu driven application using switch. Switch is going to be very helpful whenever you create menu driven applications. So let us understand how do you create a simple menu using switch statement.
Hey, thanks for watching our content so far. If you're new to Training Monk, we're the fastest growing technology training company and create content to help freshers like you to master the disruptive technologies like full stack development, AML, cloud, DevOps, etc. If you like the content so far, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon not to miss any new content from us. Like and share this video with all your friends. Let's build your career and the community together.
To demonstrate that, let me create a new Java class and then I'll name this class as menu, or you can give using switch or whatever. So I'll just say switch, but when you're creating this, you can simply use menu. So just to identify that we're using it with switch, I'm using this menu using switch, or let us delete this. Okay, so now let me select this normal class. So now menu, and then I'm writing my main method. Now let us try to understand how this menu should look like, and then see when you're using any graphical design applications, right? So you can directly go and then see in your browser. Suppose you take an e-commerce application, right? So suppose you have options to go men, women, kids and all. Suppose you're creating a character user interface application, or you're building a bank application where everything works in a character user interface. So in this case, how do you basically create a menu using the character user interface design? So that is where switch is going to helpful. So now let us understand how this menu should look like. So suppose I'm just creating a normal application, something like this. So I'll say welcome to some e-commerce app, or you can give whatever the name for the app. So now then let us say now here you have select category or whatever the category that you want to select. So now it could be men, it could be women, kids or whatever. So now let us say here I'll say enter your choice. Now let us say here we are asking the user to enter either 1, 2, 3 just to enter into the category, and based on that we can show what are the products which are available for him to select. So let us try understanding how do you basically create this, right? So now here the user enters the choice. So based on the choice we are going to execute certain kind of statements to enter into men category or women category or a kids category. So switch is going to be very helpful. So now first let me print this one to the user so that user will understand. So how do you basically print this? So just a normal sout statement. I'll first create these dashes and sout, and I'll say welcome to e-commerce app. Guys, we can format these outputs. So Java is very rich in formatting the outputs. So since we just know only system.out.println to print just messages, we're using this approach to print it. But we can format entire outputs for the character user interfaces, so which we can understand in some advanced concepts. So let me just use a normal string here just to print it or to achieve our outcome. So now I'm just printing it. So system.out.println, suppose you want some space here, right? So maybe a line or two. So what you do, system.out.println with empty by default will create an empty line. So it enters into the new line, so without printing anything. Suppose you want to print one more line into it. So we have some escape sequence characters. When you use /n, so it basically prints another line so that you'll get two lines, right? So like that we use /n for printing anything into the new line. And if you want a simple line, don't pass anything, just system.out.println with empty parenthesis will do that job. So now I want to print this select category, so I'm just writing sout saying select category, and here I'm just going to write 1 as men and sout 2 as woman and sout 3 as kids, right? So now here I'll say sout enter choice. So now here the user will enter his choice, right? So now what I need to do, I need to take scanner. So to accept the input, so I'm using scanner sc is equal to new scanner of system.in. So to initialize of scanner. So now I'm now taking this as a byte. I'll say input choice. I'm taking this variable, or you can take input or choice, whatever. So now here I'll say sc.next byte, where whatever the choice that you'll enter, the numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever the numbers you have. So now here that will be stored into a byte. So now what I do now here is I have to use switch, right? So now the switch of input choice, now I'm going to write my cases. So now whatever the value that you have will be passed here, and I need to write cases to match. So the first case is 1. Now where I'm going to write here, I'll say welcome to main section, right? And I'll print something like this, just a normal string messages, just to showcase whether we are having the proper category or not. So now here we are into the main section. Suppose inside your main, if you want to display a sub menu, right? So once you enter into men, you have different products. Once you enter into women, you have different products, and kids will have different products, and you want to show that, and again they'll choose a choice, right? So you can imagine this in a graphical user interface where you have a main menu, you go and then put your mouse over, so it will list out all the sub menus and all the stuff. So this we can achieve it in a character user interface using switch. Now suppose if you want to display some other products here, right? So now what I can do, I can just say that now I'll say select choice, or select your category or whatever, or select main category products, or I'll say okay, I'll say category. Now here what I do here, so I will just print something like this, where I'll say 1 is t-shirts, and 2 is shirts, and third option will be of party wear. Okay, so now here he'll enter the choice. Now I'll say enter choice, exactly the same main menu that whatever you have. Now since I already have a scanner here, I don't need to define the scanner every time, because the same scanner can be used to take the input, right? So now here he'll enter the choice again to select either t-shirts, shirts or party wear. Now that we can directly take it here by using scanner. Now I'm going to say here as men input choice, okay, is equal to sc dot next byte. So directly it will take. So now I can write my switch passing my men input choice, and now here the case is 1. So just I'll say men t-shirts category, right? So now what I do, I just want to print it just only an SOP statement, just to make sure that we are understanding the flow properly, or just displaying it properly. So in real time we show all the products that whatever is available here, but break is very important, because once you enter into the case, once you execute this, you have to use break. So now I'll say case 2, right? So the second case is what I need to enter into shirts. So now I'll just copy this and paste it here, and then change this to shirts category, right? And similarly I have case 3, and then paste it here, and this is going to be my party wear category, right? So this is how you showcase. And then suppose if the user enters other than 1, 2, 3, so then you don't have any other option here. So that's where what you do, you write your default, right? So now in the default what you write, I'll say invalid input, please try again, right? So some message for the user to show. Since it is a last statement, I don't need to write break, or if you want to write, you can write the break. So this is what is a nested switch statement. Now if you can look at this, this is what is your main menu, and once you enter into one case, then you have sub menu that you are displaying it with the switch. So this is what is going to be this is the nested switch statement. So the example of nested switch statement, right? So now this is what your case which ends here, right? This is what is my case 1, the main choice that to enter into main section. So after this, what I need to do, I need to write a break, right? So every case should have a break. Now this, what is your case 1? So this entire thing that you are doing it for men category or men section. Now similarly you have women section. So what I can do, the women section is going to be case 2. So I'm going to write it case 2 and copy paste this whole stuff, right? So, and now what I'm doing, I'm selecting the whole stuff and copy pasting it here. And now here I'll change this value. I'll say women section and select the category, and for the same case I'm just using the same categories, or you can change these categories, and instead of men category, so I'm just simply saying it as women input choice, and then copy this. So guys, once you double click on a particular word, it by default selects the word. Example, suppose I want to select this, just double click on this or double click on this, so it will by default select. So you don't need to select from here to here. Sometimes you might miss of copying the spaces as well. So not to have that problem, just double click this, so it will by default select the word, and do a Control C, copy it, and then select this word and paste it. That's it. So now this is women category. So now I'm replacing men with women. So copy this and paste it here, and invalid input. So now the same thing that what we do is for case 3 for kids, right? So now I'm going to copy this again, copy it and paste it here, and say this as kids section, and here it could be a kid input choice, and copy this. Alright, kids, copy this and paste it here, and now here I'll say kids, right? So like that I have written all these 3 cases. And what actually happens if the user does not enter a valid input here? Maybe he might enter 4 or 5, which is not there. So I need to write a default for this outer switch as well, right? So now I have written 3 cases. So what I have to do, I have to write my default for the outer switch. I need to say invalid input, please try again, right? So now I'll save this. Since it is the last statement for the outer switch, I don't need to write break. And this is how you basically write menus. Guys, this is not the efficient solution, and probably what we do, we divide this entire code writing into methods which are reusable components, which you'll understand in our further courses. But as of now, we just know how to write simple system.out.println methods. Just we are writing it like this, just to make sure that this works fine. So now what we do here is, now let me run this to demonstrate how it will work. Now when you run this, you can see that now it is showing exactly the same way that how we wanted it to show. Welcome to e-commerce app, and it says select category, men, women, and then kids. And if you want a space here, guys, here we did not give any space. So rather, how do you get a space here? So one way of doing it with system.out.println here. Or guys, if you want to display new line, after this also you can do /n. So whenever you do /n, it always will print it in a new line, right? So now let me rerun this, right? Now when I rerun, now you can when I rerun, now you can see that after this kids, I got a space, right? So now it is now blinking, you see, because the execution is still in progress. Now it is asking you to enter the data, since at line number 29 we asked next byte. So now what I can do, I can enter 1, 2, 3 or maybe any other number. So based on this, what basically happens, this will be stored in input choice, and that input choice will be passed to switch. So suppose example, if I pass 1, right, and the moment I press enter, what basically happens, the 1 will be compared with case 1. So this match is happened, or match is correct. So then it will enter into this. Now you see, it displayed everything that whatever we written inside your case. Welcome to men section, select category, t-shirts and all the stuff. And similarly, you can format this output, guys, using /n, /t's, which can give you some kind of a space and all the stuff. And then again, it is asking here at line number 41 to enter the choice. So now, what are the options that I have? 1, 2, 3 here to enter into the subcategory. Now I'll have 1. So when I enter 1, what does it do? So now this main input choice is 1, so switch off 1, so case 1 is matched. So it executed this and then it did a break. So when it break, so what actually did, it print men t-shirts category and men t-shirts category and break it. So means it came out of the case block, right? So once it out of the case block, so what basically happened, it came out of here and after that it does break. So means it will come out of the outer switch now. So means it does not continue case 2. What basically happens if I remove this break, we have already seen, it will continue executing case 2, right? So that is what very important when to use break, especially when you use switch statement, right? So now this is what is perfectly working. So let me rerun to check all the inputs whether it's working fine. So I'll enter men and then I'll enter 2 now to enter into shirts category. It's working fine. So then I'll run this men and then 3 party wear category. So it's working fine. So like this, let me run to see women category 2, enter 2 and then 1, right? So t-shirts category, let me run this 2 and then 3 party wear category. Now what happens if I enter a wrong input, right? So now let me enter into men category, but out of 1, 2, 3, 4, let me enter 5, right? So now what it is saying? It is saying default, right? Invalid input, please try again. So this is what it is printing now, right? So means the default is also working fine. So let me enter this here. And what actually happened here, only I entered 5. So it basically says invalid input, please try again, because none of the cases match. So this is how you create menu driven applications using switch. Switch is going to be very much helpful in menu driven applications or task schedulers, right? Event planners. So these kind of applications we use switch a lot.